Religiously, understand the seven principles of hell. You'll understand the seven demons within you. You'll understand that whole concept. There's a whole metaphysical concept. We ain't go over that, but anyway.
Hey, what up, everybody? I hope all of y'all is having a blessed and humble morning. Continue to have a blessed and humble day. This y'all shorty Rachel. Man, let's talk. Shorty just talking tonight, man. We've been talking a lot over here about general wealth, right? Um, mm, it's so much going on, right? With our kids out here, right? Y'all heard me talk about, getting our kids. Um, well, if you have a child between the ages of 13 and up, right, getting them their permits, right, their working papers and stuff like that, so they can be able to work and put a little job after school, right, summertime, so they can make a little money to get the things that they want, do the things that they want to do, right. We've been talking about that a lot, right. I'm trying to bring back programs and stuff like that. What are the key factors that determine whether wealth lasts beyond one generation, right? And how can families ensure that inherited wealth is managed wisely rather than squandered, right? And I ask those questions, right? Um, Throughout these conversations, right, I've been listening on how a lot of the parents have been trying to teach their kids, right, general wealth, right? How to deal with everyday, our everyday life, right? How to manage a house, how to pay bills, how can I say, budget, right, and much more. What's crazy is, right, a shorty has inherited, right, a house, right, and the house that she has inherited was passed down, it's from family to family, right. My mom has passed it down to us. She actually bought this from one of her family, but a shorty has been thinking a lot what to do with it, right, and definitely is going to be handed down to my children. You see where I'm coming from? While I'm here dealing with this house situation, I am definitely going, turn it into a business. Well, I was thinking, what's crazy, right? Because I got my 18-year-old back in the house, right? I was thinking, I was like, damn, I got a real huge basement. I was going to turn that into an apartment. And I think it's a real good idea because in this basement, right, we have a bathroom, we have an area where there's like sinks, pipes, and all that. All I gotta do is just add like a little kitchen, or I can add either an electric stove. I was thinking electric, not gas, not gas, and no basement. There's already a lot of stuff that's down there that involves gas. But I was thinking about just adding a little electric stove from the part where they got the sinks and stuff like that. He got a little kitchen right there. Boom, bathroom's already there. Boom. Then he's got a nice big area that he could turn into like 2 rooms. He has his little. He could turn it into like 3 rooms in reality if he wanted to, but 2 rooms would be nice. And a nice little living room area, space, a walk-in closet. So I have a big, huge basement, and I'm definitely thinking about turning that into an apartment. The same thing with the upstairs because the main area, like where the living room, the kitchen, and the dining room will normally be, is what a shorty is turning into a business, right? Yeah, it's not. I don't think it's a bad idea. In the next house that I buy, I'm thinking about doing the same thing, especially with my daughter. All right. Um, Now, next house, I'm thinking about putting something, out of Philadelphia. I want to, try to see if we can get some land and a house, right? That way we get, my daughter wants something big. She likes farming. She wants animals. She likes a lot of stuff. So I'm definitely thinking about getting, owning some property, not just the house, but the land, right? So I'm definitely aiming towards that. And if I do that, I'm definitely gonna give my daughter, I'm definitely out of the house that we get. I am definitely gonna turn the upstairs or the basement the same way that I'm gonna plan on doing into this house. And people might look at it as an apartment, but I'm looking at it as like, to give her a nice big area, like an apartment size out of the house. It's hers. You see where she has to maintain it. You see where I'm coming from. Um, Learn how to, keep up with the bathroom, her little room, her little apartment, and stuff like that. Have her, out of her little her insurance money. You hear me? Out of her little chore money and stuff like that. Teach her how to go out and buy the things that she needs. All right. It basically get her prepared, right? And I'm not gonna do that now that she's 8. By the time I do that, hopefully my daughter will be like maybe 10, 11, 12 years old. So I don't think that's a bad idea, right? I inherited a place, and I feel as though I'm gonna pass these things down onto my kids, right? Whether I inherit it or whether I buy it, and then I pass it down to them. I feel as though I need to teach them how to take care of whether it's a property, a vehicle, a business. You see, handle these things, right? Physically and financially, right? Is financial education more important than the actual wealth being passed down? And what role does entrepreneurship, right? My bad, I can't pronounce the word right, play in creating lasting generational wealth, right? And I feel as though that, that plays a lot. I want to teach my son, right? And I want to teach my daughter, right? It's okay to work for somebody, but I feel as though, right, I want them to start doing businesses. You see where I'm coming from? And I want them to start, yeah. My 18-year-old, he was there for a second, but, he went through a little something. Now he's picking himself up, and I'm trying to help him get on his feet, right? And like I told him, everything that I have is going to be passed down to them. All they got to show me is responsibilities. You see, even though they're my kids, I want them to understand that, listen, respect and everything that you get in life is earned. That shit is not just given. Nobody's going to sit here and give you anything. You have to work hard for the things you want and need in life. Give me 1 second, guys. Let me deal with my daughter real quick.
In the old days, love was pure and true. Now it's just a show for all to view. People use it for their own gain, leaving hearts in sorrow and pain. Once a sacred bond, now just a game. Hearts are broken, never quite the same. Love used to be a beacon bright, now it's lost in the shadows of the night. Oh, how we long for those days of yore, when love was honest forevermore. But now it's twisted, tainted and cruel, leaving us drowning in an endless pool. What can we do? In the spiritual world, all seems bright, but shadows lurk in the dead of night. Half of humanity wears a wicked guise, evil deeds hidden behind virtuous eyes. Beneath the surface, the darkness lies, masks of deceit veiling their lies.
All right, my bad. So, right, I want to do this live. I would like to hear, y'all perspectives, right? What ideas? What do y'all think? What type of ideas do y'all got that could be, passed down to our kids that involves general wealth, right? Does generational wealth contribute to economic inequality, or does it create opportunities for financial stability? And I feel it does. I feel it does, create a financial stability, right, for our kids, right? Especially if we teach them at an early age, right? And what we need to remember, what we need to realize, right, it starts from home. Like, we cannot keep expecting that these schools, right, and other things like celebrities, these movies is going to teach our kids how to sit here and maintain a house, how to take care of a house, how to, fix a house, how to pay the bills, you see, how to pay the mortgage, right? How to budget your money so that you can still, so that you can get the things that you need and still be able to buy the things that you want. Right. And that's why I feel as though, right, what was inherited to me once, I feel as though that I'm going to turn it into something and teach my kids. Right. My 18-year-old, right, he's home. And the rent out there in Philly is high as hell. The rent ain't like before. He thought it was going to be like before, like when, his mom used to rent and stuff like that. No. Now you go out there and you rent from somebody, you're paying them from $1,000 and up. You see where I'm coming from? There's no rent that's $500, $600, $700 no more. So what I'm doing with my son is, right, he's 18. He's got a room for right now. That's what gave me the idea of fixing the apartment upstairs, right? Right now he's paying me $200 for a room, right? You don't see that no more at all. So basically I'm going to fix the apartment downstairs, and I was like, look, son, this is what you're going to do. You're going to give your mom $400, right? And the $400 is going to go towards bills and everything that's needed for the house. You see where I'm coming from? And it's the truth. I mean, listen, I'm just explaining to him a little bit, right? And then I'm teaching him, like, right, whatever money he makes, he's got to, break that down. Make sure his rent is paid first, right? Make sure the bill, the rent is paid. Make sure he's got food in his refrigerator. Make sure he buys the things that he needs. He's got, his little money for him to get around and stuff like that, right? And from there on, I, what I want that is to teach them, right? Teach him so that when he's got enough money saved up, right? And there's a reason why I'm not gonna sit here and charge my son no rent like of $800. Yo, somebody had the nerve to sit here like, you only charging your son $200. Oh, you got me fucked up. The way the economy is, no, that's my son. You see, and if I wanted to, I don't have to charge him rent, but I want to teach him something. So basically, when I create this apartment downstairs, that's going to teach him, look, listen, man, rent is not going to be cheap. You see where I'm coming from? No matter where you go. So yeah, I'm going to raise it up a little bit. But at the end of the day, right, even though it's going back into the things that he needs inside the same house, right, he don't know that. But at the end of the day, he's going on now. Shit, I'm over here talking. But at the end of the day, it's going to teach him, right, responsibility. It's going to teach him how to deal with whatever he has to deal with when he does decide to move on his own, right? And I don't want my son dependent on welfare. I don't want my son dependent on SSI. Reason why I say this because he does have autism, right? Even though he's 18, right? The autism is still there, right? But I feel as though, right, that welfare SSI holds them back. Just because they have some type of mental health, right, doesn't mean that they're not capable of doing the things that me and you do, right? How does generational welfare affect family dynamics and expectations? And I feel as though that it affects it a lot because for some reason, right, a lot of people that are on welfare, right, sit here and maybe I'm wrong, but this is how I perceive things. I feel as though I see a lot of people that are on welfare want to keep passing it on down as a generation. I see a lot of moms and dads out here putting their kids in therapy and all that to collect a check, right? A lot of them trying to collect welfare off their kids, trying to pop lists, and there's so much going on. And I feel as though that, right, our kids, no matter what, they should always find a way to, how can I say, not depend off the system if there is no problems with them. Like, okay, there's kids out there that got autism, right, to like really, really bad, and they can't, like, they should be on SSI. My child has the ability to work in a place where, if there's not a lot of people, he could be able to focus. He can't work in a place like McDonald's or Walmart, Burger King, too many people. You see where I'm coming from? But in places like construction and stuff like that, mechanics, he can, because it's not a place where it's, crowded with so many people there, like, sitting here trying to, bash people, disrespect. No, like you get it like that in car dealerships like that, but I've seen him, how can I say, react better in those type of atmospheres other than places like Walmart and shit like that. It's crazy, but he can focus better in places like that. He's done better in a place where there's like 4 or 5 mechanics, right, and just a manager. So, like, the stigma around welfare discourage people from seeking necessary assistance. And how do different cultures approach welfare and social support systems? What impact does welfare have on mental health and self-worth across generations? And I feel as though, right, the people out here that are trying to, sit here and get these supplemental incomes, right, and there's really nothing wrong with them or nothing with their kids, is taken away from the people that actually do need it. And this is why I think that generational wealth needs to be taught to our kids. Not just, how can I say, not just talk to our kids, right? Not just talked about to our kids, but talk to our kids, right? We need to, as parents, right, not depend on just these programs that are out there teaching the kids, right? Not just depend on the schools that are out there, right? But You yourself teach your child how to change the oil in the car, how to, make some rice and beans, how to sit here and make some soup shit, how to make some scrambled eggs and bacon. Like you as a parent need to teach your child that, right? Before your child goes to school, your child should learn how to read and write. Should know how to at least write their name, first and last name, know their address, their telephone number. And the majority of our kids don't know how to do this, right? And they're already talking about, sitting here trying to pass a law where our kids at the age of 16 to vote. Like we should hear what they think, right? We should hear what they need from their own mouth, yes. But I don't feel as though that our kids are ready to do these types of things when half of them don't even know how to take care of themselves. Half of them don't even know how to, wipe their asses, wash a dish after they eat. How does generational wealth influence family dynamics and expectations once again? How will automation and AI impact wealth building opportunities for future generations? And I feel as though that the AI tool, right, impacts a lot in the way that our kids, right, are now using these AI tools, right, and none of them are picking up books. None of them are practicing reading and writing. The AIs do everything for them. That's the crazy part, right? And shout out to these kids out here that are not, how can I say it? Shout out to the parents, right? That are, really teaching these kids and are instilling these things in their kids, right? And their kids' third eye is open at an early, their third eye is open. So, like, it's crazy because we got a lot of kids, right, that talk about that they want to do real estate, they want to do this, but the majority of them don't even know what 2 plus 2 is. What lessons can we learn from families who successfully maintain wealth across multiple generations? And how can individuals without inherited wealth build financial security for future generations, right? Like, what's crazy is like I said, me inheriting a house, right? I've been, told to do this, told to do that. Me personally, I feel as though I want to fix this up, right? And I want to leave it behind for my kids. Whatever properties I buy next is going to be the same thing. So while I am doing this, right, and I am preparing to leave these things behind for my children, I am going to teach my kids how to budget their money, how to pay bills, how to deal with taxes. You see where I'm coming from? If I have to sit here and, make them a part of my little small business to teach them, how to deal with cash registers, how to sell, how to deal with marketing and much more, I do that. Because at the end of the day, by the time I'm not here, I want my kids to be ready. I want them to be prepared. I would love to hear what ideas y'all got, right, when it comes to general wealth. And what do y'all think about what ideas y'all got when it comes to generational wealth, right? And what do y'all think about generational welfare? Do y'all believe that our kids should be dependent on, food stamps, SSI, right? At the early ages of 16, 17 and up? And what can we do to teach our kids generational wealth? So that's all the time that I got. I wasn't going to be here that long. I appreciate those that, you show the shorty support. Please share the video, man. And let's talk about it. Leave your comments down below, right? And let's get the discussion started.